Russ, first off, I'm here with Russ Enyart, who's turned into a good friend of mine. I didn't know him before EXP. Started to hear of him because some of the waves you were making in the industry in a pretty short amount of time. You haven't been in real estate, oodles and noodles of time. But what you've done has been quite remarkable, actually. So kudos to you and your, work ethic and so forth. But anyway, we've gotten to be pretty good friends and buddies and so on. And I've loved being a cheerleader for you and watching you grow and so forth, both on the production and also on the attraction side and what have you. Tell the people that are listening in, watching this, a little bit about your background, because you've been in real estate, what now, starting your fourth year, I think, or something?
Yeah, full-time since April of 2019.
Okay, remarkable.
Yeah, we're what are we in, October 2022?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So short amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do prior to real estate?
Immediately prior, I was in 10 years of corporate world, mainly with Best Buy, Target, and Samsung Corporation.
Okay.
Yeah, that was corporate world, working my way up that corporate ladder, finished as a regional manager for Samsung, running 11 states, and had a ton of people underneath me, and was fired in January of 2019.
Really?
Yeah, fired.
Oh my gosh. So sometimes when one door closes, another door opens. The closing is typically painful and kind of sometimes can be shocking and so forth. And, you kind of process through that. But so how was that process? And then what doors, I'm sure with your talent, you had many doors of opportunity. And why real estate?
It's crazy. It's a good question. And it's kind of a fun accident that happened. I was interviewing with Walmart and Asurion. Assurion's a insurance company that insures electronics.
Okay.
If you've ever had your phone replaced, it's probably Assurion.
Oh.
So those were the two companies that I was interviewing with after I got fired in January of 2019.
Okay.
And I got a message from Keller Williams in El Dorado Hills that, hey, you're a pretty crappy agent. Maybe you should come interview with our mega team. And they thought I was a crappy agent because although
I was going to ask, okay.
Even though I started full-time real estate in April of 2019, I had obtained my license to sell flips a few years before. So I was doing, 3-4 deals part-time.
Okay.
And then when I interviewed in El Dorado Hills, we both recognized that mega team was not the spot for me and that there was more money in real estate than I thought. I talked to a person there. I believe he was number 542 at Keller Williams. So nowhere near like our partner who was number 1 7 times, but 542.
Yeah. Wow.
And at the end of the conversation, I was like, man, this guy is talking like he actually makes a pretty good living. Right. And I'm coming from the corporate world, egotistical. I'd made my way up the top ladder. I thought I was making pretty good money. And I said, hey, if you don't mind me asking, can I ask you a personal question? Like, how much money did you make last year? And he said, yeah, I don't mind you asking at all. I made 1.4.
1.4.
And I said,
number 500 and some odd in Keller Williams.
Yes.
And one brokerage, there's other brokers. Wow.
Yeah,
there's a lot of money.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, I made it to the top 5 at Samsung Corporation. So I came home, I told my wife I'm quitting the interview process with Walmart and Asurion, and we're going to go into real estate.
Wow. How was that received?
She's so supportive. She's always, whatever we want to do, she's down for us. So she's a good wife.
Well, you've been pretty successful at whatever you set your mind to. So I'm sure I
failed a lot too. So I'm sure there was a little bit of nervousness from her.
All right. Yeah. Part of the secret to success, right, is fail. I don't think there's anyone out there that's had a home run success without having some failures first.
That's what you learn. That's how you learn, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you got into real estate. You're like, I'm doing this. You made up your mind. You cleared out all the other things. And, whenever you have that singularity of purpose and then putting it with action is pretty exciting. So that's awesome. So what was your first year in, I think you joined the company I was with, had good experience. I think it was Keller Williams or what have you, right? Good company.
Yeah. So when I interviewed earlier in that year and I was going to make April 1st start date, I actually read.
Well, that's an interesting date.
April Fool's. Yeah.
Okay.
I read Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent book.
Okay. Yeah.
And to your point, singular focus, right? I have 4 kids and a wife that I support.
Yeah.
And so it was a no fail opportunity, right? I couldn't fail. There was no
burn the ships, as they say,
that's
right?
Exactly.
We're not going back. We're going forward.
For sure. So I almost followed that book to a T. Listings only from day one.
Wow.
We did almost 200,000 in GCI that first year.
Your first year.
Yeah. The goal was to get 10 signs in the ground. And we accomplished that within 5 or 6 months, which was really cool.
Awesome.
And then things just started rolling. It was really neat.
Wow.
That first year.
So goal was 10 signs in the ground. You did that in the first 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
What were you doing? What were some of your methods of growing? Because, we're coming into a shifting market, and I've been doing this 26 years, and I was taught from the beginning that if you want to last, you need to list. List to last, right? So listings are where it's at. It's where you somewhat get a little bit of leverage as a professional in real estate.
And I did have an advantage. I had done all those flips, so I'd sold a bunch of my own houses. So I was pretty familiar with the process. And I had been in distressed real estate my whole life. I was buying foreclosures. So not only was I hitting my sphere hard, which Keller Williams teaches you, and I'm very grateful to learn, but I was also in that niche of distressed property and then ultimately REOs. I didn't know that it was the slowest REO time ever because I was a new agent full-time, right? So I just went into it and started going after
2019 REOs. Was there really many out there?
I didn't know the difference between a heavy REO time and a not heavy REO time. And so nobody was going after them. Yeah. And so I just started obtaining them. I knew how to look up deeds, and I started doing reverse engineering of deeds. And before you know it, I had some REO listings, and that started rolling. And it's been a blessing.
Okay. Well, you're super humble. Love you, man. So, 3 years. I think if I remember correctly, your goal of finishing your third year was $1 million in gross commission income.
Correct.
So you're not messing around.
No,
you're a doer. You take action.
We came up short that year, and
but
well, and it was on purpose almost. I think we would have made $1 million. Actually, Randy was helping me with that. Randy Bird,
awesome.
From our group. Yeah, he was coaching me. Teaching me how to get there. However, I discovered that recruiting was actually a place where I wanted to put some of my energy because my revenue share checks had started to grow, and I really hadn't focused on it. And so we came up short about $115,000 on our $1 million goal in year 3. So 885. Yeah.
Hey, not bad.
But we started recruiting.
It's a living.
Yeah. And so we're working on passive income part of the end of that year. We started in November.
Okay. Yeah. Building true wealth.
Yes.
Right. Because you realize pretty quickly that you're only as good as your last sale.
Whew.
Transactional treadmill is real.
We were busy. We were busy all the time.
Yeah. So, so when you came over, you were at Keller Williams. Good experience, so on. What prompted you to make the change? Because I know a lot of agents, human nature is to fear change and not want to change. We want to be comfortable. But I had a mentor say, all the things that you want in your life, all the wonderful aspects, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations never lie in your comfort zone. They are outside your comfort zone. Therefore, you have to get comfortable. Now, it doesn't have to be forever necessarily, but for a short period of time, right? So, tell me a little bit about that process and making the move over to EXP and why.
Yeah, no, change is no fun. Right? No matter what you do, change is no fun. So there has to be a good reward at the end.
Yeah.
And I was going to stay at Keller Williams for a year because I capped relatively quickly.
Okay.
If you're doing fairly well. Yeah. And then I was like, why would I move when I've capped? Because, I'm making 100% of my commission at this point. And so I was really adverse to moving. However, as I started to dig deeper and deeper into the EXP model, I knew I was an icon level producer already, and that I would probably only get better. And then when I realized that you actually got to pick your support team, that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to, instead of paying thousands and thousands of dollars for coaching every month, I'm going to pick a team that can support me and help me grow. And it was a home run. The first year at EXP, I went from 197 in GCI my first year at Keller, even though it was a shortened year, but to 594 my second year with EXP, which was outstanding.
Wow, that's almost a 3-time jump, right? That's incredible.
It was great.
Okay, so did you come over because you're going to be a recruiter and that's what I'm going to do or what have you? Or were you like most agents that I hear as I'm talking to agents all over the country? Hey, EXP looks good. It makes sense. I just want to sell real estate. I want to stay in my lane. Buyers, sellers. I don't want to recruit. Don't make me recruit. That's all EXP is about, recruiting. I'm like, it's really not. Only 20% in the company recruit, and really half of those do it well. The other half just kind of don't do it very well. So were you a recruiter and that was your mindset?
No, you just heard me say the main reason I came over was because I knew I was an icon level producer, right? So essentially EXP would pay me to work there as long as the stock appreciated.
Yeah, right.
And I got to pick my coaches where I wasn't going to have to pay, I didn't think, right? Which was great.
Yeah.
However, I started attracting people naturally because if you do $594,000 with the GCI.
In year two.
Yeah, in year 2, and people see you have a bunch of listings everywhere, they want to know, how you accomplish that, right? And so naturally people started coming over into my group. And then I already shared earlier about November of The third year is when I really changed gears, and missed the $1 million, only made it 885. But that's when I switched to, all right, I'm going to do 50% recruiting and 50% production.
Okay. All right. So you didn't come over obviously for recruiting at all. It wasn't even really on your mind. But then organically, and I tell agents this all the time, I go, look, you're going to have people reach out to you because they know you, like you, trust you. And then you have the boldness, the guts to make a move, which is a little scary for agents, right?
Yep.
And then you make the move and now you go and excel. Because I can't tell you how many other broker owners out there are like, oh, you go to EXP, you're going to go down and look at it, all their production goes down when they go over to that. And it's actually not necessarily true. Yours almost tripled. So talk about the aspect of now you're cool with recruiting and so on.
No, I love recruiting now because what happens is you fall in love with EXP, you fall in love with the model, and then you want to share it, right? That's what happens. At least that's what happened to me.
That's true.
And you're right. Production goes up for most people actually when they come over here. And I would say to defend the ones that have left, sometimes you don't get in the right group for you for EXP. But if you get in the right group, I think you would agree, your production should go up.
Absolutely. Right? And we have a dynamic group with number one KW agent in the world 7 years in a row, another guy who built 10 offices from scratch, over 2,000
Former
agents.
Tom Ferry coach, right? Brent Grove, who was number 2 in the world and number 1 in California at RE/MAX. How could you not grow with that kind of coaching?
Absolutely. And then we learned Brent's sponsor, Sheila, she built, what did she say last time? It was something like, had business in 13 states and multiple brokerages and had done over 5,000 transactions or something. I didn't even know that. Gosh, we are just an amazing support structure from top to bottom for our team at EXP. So pretty awesome.
It's easy to get people over here because if you watch our schedule that we've all put together, there's something every day of the week except for Sunday.
Yeah, right?
So if you want to learn something like on the spot that day, fresh, something every day of the week. And that doesn't even include what we do in the cloud and, the icon teaching that we have done in the cloud that's available all the time. So we have something every day of the week to help people.
I love it. So talk about accessibility, because we're talking about our team and the support, because support's a big deal. Agents are like, well, wait a minute, how's this work? You're not in a building, brick and mortar. You guys are all floating around in the cloud kind of thing. Like, who am I going to talk to? If I have a question, how am I going to get support? It's like there's a disconnect until they're actually here, So talk about that a little bit. That might have been a little fear as you're coming over, I'm guessing.
I had done a good job picking my, senior partners. So I wasn't really concerned about that part of it. However, there was a concern about, my managing broker, if I need to make an appointment, how's that going to work? And what I discovered at my old brokerage is I needed to make an appointment. If it was super important, maybe I would get something same day. If it wasn't super important, I'm looking at later in the week that, she would get together with me. Right. Whereas here, as you know, if I want to go talk to a broker right now, in a couple of minutes in the world, I'll have them on the line. Not only that's the state of California. What's really interesting, and sometimes I show people how wrong they are about the support. I'll be like, hey, you want to talk to a broker from Georgia? Give me a second. Yeah. Hey, you want to talk to a broker from Ohio? Hold on 1 second, right? Want to talk to a broker from Hawaii? As long as they're open, they're 2 hours behind us. Let's go talk to a broker from Hawaii. And so I take them through that tour, and they're blown away.
That literally they are blown away. And it takes a couple times, but when they experience, they're like, oh, I get it now.
This is easy.
Like, this is actually easier to get a hold of people, and I get better service. I tell them that. They think I'm just trying to,
hey, we just solved the brokerage issue. Hold on, let's go over to accounting and get the accounting issue solved.
Right.
And 2 seconds later, we're in accounting, and somebody's helping us over there. Wait, and then I have this person that's onboarding. Give me 10 more seconds, and we're going to see exactly where they are in the process and onboarding, right? And so within 3 minutes, I've solved issues that would take hours.
I know. At a different brokerage. Stay in our lane and be productive and get stuff done.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
amazing.
Super important. I want to respect your time. What would you tell the people out there watching? What do you love most about EXP, and what is the next 5 years? Wave your magic wand for Russ and his family and so on that EXP has kind of opened up for you.
Yeah, what I love about EXP is the collaboration and all of the people that are here. Period in the story. And how they're fully invested with you. When you and I have no benefit helping each other other than we're both stockholders, right? We happen to like each other at this point. Right. And I hope we're friends. You started with that, right?
Absolutely.
But the collaboration's amazing. I know we just had a young lady come in just a minute ago that actually helped me a month ago bring somebody on. And she was absolutely fantastic in the process and is going to be one of the leaders here at the company.
That's awesome.
And she had no financial incentive, right? So the collaboration and the people that are here are the number one thing that I like. And from a 5-year perspective,
let's dream a little.
Yeah, like last year, I told you in November, and we're in October now, so I'm almost 12 months into the recruiting portion where I've given, half my energy to that. Now my residual checks are, nearing 5 figures, like getting really close to 5 figures a month. And that's life-changing. You can leave for a month and come back and there's a nice paycheck at the end of the month. So 5 years from now, I know that's going to be significantly higher because I nurture that group, just like the folks that brought me in nurtured me. And I can't wait to keep sharing, and it's going to be great.
I know, it's exciting. You want to bless, you want to have them see the light.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm at a point now where I'm excited and passionate for the opportunity to share it with them, to have them experience the same thing.
Well, and it's neat. So I have a couple of folks that work with me. I have my full-time assistant who I started putting folks with her from a revenue share perspective, right? And then my buyer's agent, we started putting folks with her, and they start getting revenue share checks, and they're significant, like thousands of dollars, right? That they didn't expect. And they're like, okay, how does this work, right? Because it's changing their life, right? They didn't expect an extra couple $1,000s in a month. It's a big deal.
It's awesome. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure.
Again, there's no financial benefit of, just kind of talking shop here, but it's going to be super beneficial for those that are out, all across the nation, internationally and so forth, that are going to be watching this video. And, Russ is an amazing person, amazing realtor. But there are so many other Russes like you, that are watching this. EXP truly is the real deal. It truly is life-changing for realtors. It's like they flipped the script and said, let's make the agents, which really produce the value in the company. If you don't have any agents, you really don't have a brokerage or any value. It's the agents that produce the value and are working. And they said, let's flip the script and make them all owners.
That's cool.
Right? Let's give them equity, because they work hard on that transactional treadmill. You work hard on that transactional treadmill. At the end of the day, if something were to happen to you, you were to get sick, a car accident or, whatever, and you can't go run on that transactional treadmill anymore, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What does the future look like? But now 5-figure residual, soon to be 6-figure, we're looking monthly, in the next 3, 4, 5 months. Real deal. It's just math. It works out. It's incredible. So thanks everyone for watching the video. Thank you again for spending the time.
My pleasure.
Love you, brother. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.